Hey guys, it's Liv again. So I have a really exciting video because I'm actually in New York City right now, and I am at the Boy Meets Girl headquarters, and I'm getting a tour of the office. I'm meeting wonderful people. I have Stacy right here, the founder of Boy Meets Girl, and
Hi guys.
we've been talking. It's been a really fun day, and I'm getting all the information on Boy Meets Girl, seeing some cool products, and I actually have the chance to sit down with Stacy and ask her some questions that I came up with on the train here, because I have a lot to ask you, because I think this is so cool, and this is something that I want to do in the future, so I thought it would be a better way than to ask you some questions. So
we're on a cardboard couch here.
So if
I start falling over,
this is awesome. This is a cardboard couch. I was a little hesitant to sit on it because I didn't know if it was real, because I mean cardboard.
Right, exactly.
That's really funny.
Sit on there.
Yeah, I love the office. It's very, very cool, and definitely get a lot of inspiration working here. So I think this is really cool. So I have some questions to ask you. The first question is the obvious: how did Boy Meets Girl begin?
Okay. Well, nice to meet you all. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for having me.
So Boy Meets Girl began. Well, I'm going to talk about the logo and then the word.
That was my next question.
Okay.
The logo
so I'm just going to answer it.
Yes.
So when I first started sort of thinking of what I was going to do and design for my own brand, I was home in Chicago, and there was a silhouette of myself when I was younger up on my wall, and I was like, okay, this is a cool sort of silhouette imagery of life, and thought, okay, well, this is something I might be interested in incorporating into the brand. And I was dating my now husband, who was my boyfriend of 3 months, and he invited me over to his New York home for dinner with him and his parents. And on his wall, when I walked in, so I had just come back from Chicago, and had my silhouette, and on his wall was like himself, his brother, and his sister. And so like right away I saw his picture, and I knew I had my picture, and I'm like, Boy Meets Girl.
Yeah.
So it was sort of this like moment where I'm like, here I can join these pictures together, but it was more about this time of innocence, of young love, of your first time meeting your best friend or your boyfriend, or your, you know, just like music, and all these things just sort of like your first all came about. And that's where the brand, that night we actually spent, he was a graphic designer, I spent time like hours until like 3 a.m. modifying the ponytail and his fro, as we call it, and my eyelashes, and we made, we played so many different positions, and we basically came up with the logo that night from the silhouettes. And so, and then Boy Meets Girl was like the natural name for the brand, because Boy Meets Girl is what happened when I saw it. So that is how the logo came about, and that's how the word came about, and he is now my husband. Thank God, or else there'd be an X right here.
I really like the logo. I like how different it is, but yet, even though it's like a silhouette, it's still very detailed. Like you said, the ponytail, the eyelashes, this little fro. So I really like that. So that was my next question. And then, how did your love for fashion begin, and anybody inspire you?
So I had an intern who works for us yesterday asked me the exact same question, and I told her it started in the womb.
Well, on your website it says you since pre-K.
Yes, exactly. So since really age of, I would say 0. And I think that my inspirations, you know, really runs the gamut. One is my mother, who is an entrepreneur. She was never in the fashion industry, but just her business savviness was, you know, very inspiring. Her style, and she always went for trips to Taiwan and brought me back trinkets and Hello Kitty and canteens and stickers and erasers. So I made a catalog at the age of like 1st grade that was all these things she brought me back from Taiwan, and I would sell these items to my 1st grade friends in my catalog that I created. So that was something that, you know, she just gave me that business savviness. And then my 3 ultimate sort of fashion gurus who I always talk about is Kate Moss and her flair and her vintage and her dressing and her style and her aura and her beauty. I talk about Coco Chanel because she developed the first sort of wearing knitwear for...
She definitely went
So
out of the box.
exactly.
Yeah, she transformed fashion.
Exactly.
Just,
Out of the box.
Yes.
That's what I think about her.
I actually did a whole term paper last year on Coco Chanel and
Ooh.
fashion of that era and just how it changed.
That.
Yeah, got 100 on it. So,
oh, awesome!
Yeah.
I definitely have
Yes.
freedom. So yes,
Yeah.
I definitely love her. Our hoodie that I'll show you. Actually, one of them here is named after Coco Chanel. So that's our Coco hoodie. It's our classic hoodie in the collection. Comes in multiple colorways. And my third is, oh my God, did I just make that? Oh, Patti Smith.
Okay.
So Patti Smith is very rock and roll, edgy musician, downtown, New York City, sort of the artist vibe of the 70s and 60s, 70s,
I think that's
80s.
important to have like different style inspirations, like not just having one style.
So there's like the classic, there's the
rocker, the edgy,
music, exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm an eclectic mix.
But that's
as I
good
say.
because I know your products will be different. Was it hard chasing your dream of launching Boy Meets Girl? Any challenges? Any criticism?
Oh, yes. Well, I started the company at 23. I won't tell you my age now. 22, 23. So I had, it was the challenge of building a business, having employees at a young age, having employees that were older than you, managing them, learning the management 101, but also being a designer and having the business in it and having to do everything to build a brand. So I think that was always a challenge, and I think I've learned my management skills years later. And then production as a new designer is finding resources, production houses, and building those contacts when you are producing lower minimums.
Yeah.
But because of that, I have those contacts today who will work with me because we built these long-lasting relationships. And 3, I would say, is financing.
Yeah.
So when you're starting to build your own company,
It'd be scary.
yes, yes. So those are always the challenges of I think any business.
Next question is, what has been your biggest accomplishment that came with launching Boy Meets Girl?
There's so many facets to it. So I'll just give an example of last week. We had someone here who was like, look what I found. I saw this girl, the American Eagle, wearing Boy Meets Girl in the dressing room. So I was like, let me shoot her. And I'm like, yes, because that moment of someone wearing your clothes, whether it's a celebrity, an average person in the dressing room, a blogger, a YouTuber, it can be, it doesn't have to be a celeb, it doesn't have to be in the magazine, it's just anyone, and then I see that like makes my heart tick.
I think that's been my biggest accomplishment on my YouTube channel, because even though I don't have hundreds and thousands of subscribers, but when I go to IMAX and people come up to me and they're like, we watch your videos, it blows my mind.
Exactly.
It's like there's somebody out there that's watching my videos. Like there's over 4,000 people that are watching me, and
which is so cool.
which is just cool, which is kind of like what you said.
The second one was working with Wyclef Jean. Hi, Wyclef. So Wyclef Jean, if you guys don't know him, he was part of the band The Fugees back in the 90s. And if you weren't born in the 90s, he is now, he's the producer. He did Hips Don't Lie with Shakira. He's working with Estelle right now.
Wow.
But he actually produced my music in my New York Fashion Week show. That was the Forever Young show that I did, not this season before, or the show before. And it was like working with a Grammy Award winning legend. So I got to work in a studio. He listened to my theme and then, rolled off my ideas to create the music for the show with 2 other artists, Chris Cab and Drina DeMarco. So that's just like working for me, working with musicians for New York Fashion Week. I've worked with Natasha Bedingfield, Mia Trees. Exactly.
That's cool. That's part of it.
That's been, sometimes you just have to pinch yourself and be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is so awesome.
It's real life.
Yeah. So, and then, you're built up relationships over the years and celebrities who really love the brand and editors and buyers and I think there's a lot when I launched Timber Drift Goodman and the list goes on.
Yeah.
So
check that
there's
out
not
on the
one
website,
thing.
yeah.
Definitely when I do these interviews, I'm like, really? That's so cool. Really? On some gossip? So cool.
Yeah.
But in the moment, you're just working so much that sometimes
you have to take a step back.
Yeah.
And see. So awesome. And then I have another question, kind of about you. How would you define your style?
So again, I guess it goes back to my style, muses and influences. I think it's a mix of eclectic.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm very preppy with a twist, and sometimes I'm downtown edgy. are a hipster or a hippie.
That's like maybe.
So,
like, I mean, right today I'm wearing skulls, and yesterday I was wearing flowers.
Exactly.
So, and everybody asks me that question, like, what's your style? It's like, I don't have a style because, you know, I'll wear, you know, skulls and crosses, and then I'll wear hot pink and like polka dots.
Exactly.
So it's
so
really
I think
hard,
it's just like how you define every day, every morning you wake up. For me, is like a new image of myself of what I want to portray that day.
And that's why fashion is so important, because it's expression. Favorite spring slash summer trend that you're loving this year?
Oh, this is a good one because I can answer it.
Let's hear.
Okay, white, white, black and white.
Yes.
So I'm really loving like a white, crisp, like menswear button-down shirt that you pair with a belt that you wear to a white party.
Yeah.
Black and white, I'm really obsessed with it. And then I also really like rose gold.
Ooh, yes.
And I need to find
rose gold, anything, makeup, nail polish.
Even like I have a little rose gold here on my rings. So yeah, I think that those are my favorite trends for spring right now.
And do you see any of the Boy Meets Girl clothing being sold in major stores in the future? I know that it's mostly sold on the website, but do you see it being sold at like Forever 21 or something like that?
Yeah, so in the history of Boy Meets Girl is that it's been in every major department store across the country. So from 2001 when I launched in Bergdorf Goodman to 2010, we were in Nordstrom's, Bloomingdale's, Macy's, Gordon Taylor, and the list goes on. And then in 2010, when I was acquired by the Murray Group, we really focused to the online space. That was our core customer, our bloggers, everybody was in that space. So we started to really zone in on that area. But to answer your question, I think the future holds a lot of partnerships and a lot of brick and mortar expansion, whether it's our own stores, whether it's side-by-side stores, or within maybe partnering with a Forever 21 or someone like that. I do have a diffusion line, which is called I Heart Boy Meets Girl, which is sold in Sears and Kmart and Shopko.
Wow. All right.
So, which we have
you're
really,
expanding.
we're expanding. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for that.
That's good. And then you say that your blog is like your journal. How so?
Well, you know, in 2008, my first entry, I don't remember it like to the T, but it was like me sitting in a room with about 6 people in there, because that was our office at that time. And it was, you know, I was like, I'm going to just start this blog. It was December 2008, and I'm like, I'm going to just tell my story of how I've been growing this brand and what I'm feeling. And that's really how I started it. So if you go back into the 2008 to 2000 and really 11, it was really that journal-esque style. And then I spoke about humanizing the brand in the social media space, and I said in my speech a year ago, I said, well, it's probably going to change to more of a planned out blog because of where it was heading and the views it was getting. So now it's a journal / lifestyle of what's happening behind the scenes, whether it's what I wore at an event to what I wear on the street to who I have at the office, or interviewing my celebrity friends, or what else have I have? Writing for Lydia Palermo. I've got there's so many things, I'm missing them all.
Tips, entrepreneurship.
Tips on entrepreneurship, tips
contests.
DIY, contests. So it's become the journal has turned into welcome to my world in a much more detailed way.
Last question, this kind of ties into the question before. I love my channel. It's kind of my own personal space where I can upload all things beauty and fashion, and then I'm trying to expand it to make it more personal and kind of have my viewers, take a peek into my life. So any tips for me, and any tips because I want to launch a fashion career very soon, any tips for me?
Right now you're showing people what you're doing. So are you looking, well, we talked about this, so you're looking to go to school for marketing and communications, be involved in social media. So I was talking to some other YouTube gurus about what do they want out of their YouTube channel. So if that's what you want out of your YouTube channel, I think it'd be great to show a little bit more journal-esque views of, like, you're coming here, right? So you're asking these questions. But also maybe, not only geared towards, let's say, beauty, but maybe you go see someone speak on something, and so you've got an insight to what you want to do for yourself. So I guess it's really like what you want from it, and how much you want to bring people into what you're doing. Maybe you're talking about applying to colleges and making the decision if you're going to go to one or the other and what you're going to major in. Or while you're in college, you're taking a class and you're learning about something that is a little mind-boggling and you want to share with the viewers. So I think again, it would be cool for me if I was watching, and I'm starting to watch your channel more. So what happens through your course of your college career, and where do you go to work in the end, right?
Yeah,
so that could be very interesting. And of course, bringing in your lifestyle. We keep going.
You answered all of my questions. I want to see some Boy Meets Girl products.
Okay, so you want me to
thank you for
through
answering all my questions.
Thank you.
Very well.
And you were an amazing interviewer.
Thank you.
I'm like a little wow.
I'm very wowed.
I came up with my questions, and
it's nice to meet.
It was
people
fun
who do
homework
that.
last night. It was a lot of fun doing it.
So we will have you back all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.